we are at the 7 p.m. table and different scenery this evening. Like I said, I'm going to show up every single night at 7 o'clock. It doesn't matter where I am, I will be showing up. So, of course, we need to adapt and we need different, we need to just go with the flow. And we're live on YouTube as well. So that's great. Day three or evening three at 7 p.m. table, getting used to it, getting used to all of these things, um, getting used to showing up. Like I said, if you've watched any of before, I need this. So if you're here watching, great. If nobody's watching, I'm showing up. And that's the key thing. That is what's more important than anything else right now. Um, and tonight is about your mood is not your boss. Um, and tonight's going to be quite vulnerable. Um, the whole reason I started this is there's a lot going on. There's been a hell of a lot going on. And I've been struggling. And I know that when I'm struggling, when things are going on, I need to find a way to move me through it. I need to find things that support me through what's going on. Because the reality is what's happening now is only for a short period of time. It's gonna pass. Just as many things that have happened in my past have passed. And what's happening now for me will pass. What's happening for you, whatever it may be, will also pass. And the key thing is finding ways that work for you and maybe even exploring new ways and being curious about those new ways to work with what's going to help you work through, what's going to get you through. And one of the key things that I realized early on this week when things got really tough and really hard around some big changes that have happened in my life was that I started to lose my voice. I started to really go in. And when Jay goes in, it's kind of not a good thing. I need to be speaking, I need to be sharing, I need to be working out what's going on because there's a lot going on in my head. And if it stays in my head, it just keeps going round and round and round. And you might resonate with this. Um, and some people journal, and some people speak, and some people run or exercise. You know, we do lots of different things, but the key thing is to do something to make sure you're not doing nothing. And tonight, I'm going to be really honest with you. Tonight, I was like, I don't know what to talk about. My head just went completely blank. So I use ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows me so well. I use it so often as almost like a journaling. I use it to help me break through some of the thoughts that I'm having. I ask it and use it to help me um, make sense of things that are going on. And some of you may be really scared of AI. Some of you might be questioning, like, well, why would you use AI? Using AI is a powerful tool. And I use, first and foremost, I use AI, as I said, to work through what's going on for me and to help me understand some of the thoughts I'm having and help me even work out some of the plans and the solutions I'm looking to find. Because ChatGPT is not emotional, it is irrelevant of what my mood is, whether I'm high, whether I'm low, whether I'm in the middle, whether I'm like excited and ecstatic, or whether I'm just a bit numb. We all go through these different feelings. And yet, ChatGPT has no emotion. And so it can clean through and it can cleanse and get to the signal. Some of you may have heard me talk about noise and signal. If you get to the signal of things and just have a moment to not attach to the noise, that's when you can really get to what the point is, like whether it's a problem you're having, whether it's a problem you're working through with somebody else. If you kind of just look for the signal, you'll get where you need to get a lot quicker. Um, and so with ChatGPT, I get that. It helps me. So this evening, I was like, I'm in a funk. I'm in a funk. I'm not feeling great. Like, I really just don't want to do the live tonight. I'm being so honest and so vulnerable with you. And you know what? I think we need more of this. We need more vulnerability, more truth, and less pretending And I would never say that I pretend. In some cases, I overshare, but that's me. And I will always say, if you don't like how I show up, that's okay too. And it's more about being authentic. It's more about being you and true to you and who you are. And if that means me being honest and being vulnerable, so be it. So be it. Needing a tool, needing something to help me move through these things is more important than me not. So, true to form, ChatGPT knows me very well, because I've uploaded quite a lot of personality tests and a lot about my ADHD and how my brain works. And I've done some good questioning with it so it can really pull out my tone, how I speak, how I understand things. It's got my learning style, it's got my communication style, it's got my 16 personalities. Like, I've fully loaded it, almost like a brain, to really understand me, how I function. And true to form, which was so lovely, it said, well, it's quite easy, Jay. You're in a funk. So you need to talk about that. You need to talk about your mood is not your boss. Your mood is not your boss. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're meh, whether you're excited, like any of these things, we still need to move through the day. We still need to get up. We still need to do the things that we want to be doing to move towards our goals, to look after the people in our lives, to keep things moving, to keep, ticking boxes of whatever those things are. We need routine. We need to make sure that we're drinking water. We need to make sure that we're exercising. We need to make sure that we are being aware of who we are and what we're doing. And when things when things when things feel hard, when we feel low, when we feel sad, when we go through grief, or when we're in shock, or even when we're really excited and really happy, we will make decisions in very different ways. But coming back to the awareness of knowing yourself enough to consider that your mood is not your boss, you can then start to just slow things down a little bit and use tools to help you move through these things. Like right now, I'm so open, I'm so raw, I'm so hypersensitive to things like smells and touch and voices and opportunities and solutions are really heightened for me. Now, what I need to be really careful of, and I'm sharing this so that maybe you get something out of this too, and maybe you can align with these things. Maybe some of the things I'm saying are curious to you, and maybe you can explore them. Maybe you can message me. Maybe you can put a chat, something in the chat, and we can explore it together. But for me, right now, because I'm so open and so raw and actually feel quite vulnerable, it's actually really important for me to not make many decisions. It's important for me to consider, take some time, and not go into anything quickly, not to make quick decisions, not to buy things quickly or say yes to things quickly, because I'm so vulnerable and so raw. And I know that of myself because of the work I've done, um, a lot of work, and I will continue to do that. And I will do it probably until my last breath, because as I evolve, things evolve. I change. I get to know myself more. I understand things more. And, I've also got a coach that I work with, and I had a chat with him, and he's been absolutely incredible. Whether I've been able to just share stuff in a text, or I've been able to get on a call with him, or we've been able to work through some things. And something he said to me today was really, really powerful, and it really made me realize something that was probably in my blind spot. When you're driving in your car and you can't always see everything, you kind of need to turn around a bit to really see that little blind spot. And often it's like it's there, it's not far, but to bring it into view takes somebody else sometimes. Quite often it takes somebody else because you're so close to yourself. Anyway, he said, Jay, you know, this skill you've got when you work with people and when you coach with people, when you lead people, when you train people, when you do brainstorming, when you go into businesses, all of these things. That skill that you've got, that you really see people, and more often than not, you can see what they're not saying, or you can see what they really want to say, but they just can't seem to get it out. And when you pick up things in their language, in their tonality, in their body language, and even sometimes when you can see and hear that that person is convincing themselves of something, when in actual fact, it's a belief, it's an old story, it's something that's not factually correct, but it's keeping them safe. It's keeping them stuck almost. That skill that you've got, Jay, when you see it or you sense it, and then you actually say it and you can share it with them in a way that they can hear it and they can sense it. They don't feel attacked. It's almost like you just gently bring it round into their vision and you move it through the peripheral and you just bring it into them, for them to see. And then you support them, and then you create a plan with them, or you help them view it from different angles. That skill, Jay, when you even bring in a metaphor and a bit of a story to help them really understand what it is. I was like, yeah, I love that skill. I'm proud of that skill. I really enjoy using that skill. And sometimes when I'm working with somebody, like I was working with somebody yesterday, we were talking about their business, and I just asked a couple of questions, and it just came. Like I was like, oh my God, how have you not seen this? And they were like, how did we not see that? How have we not known that? And that is massive. That's going to seriously change our business. That's incredible. Um, so I'm really grateful for it. But see what my coach did. He said, but you also have that as a bit of a challenge for yourself. Because in seeing that and knowing that and sensing those things, that also heightens things for you. It heightens awarenesses, it heightens people's values, or it heightens expectations, or it heightens what people are saying or not saying in with everything. Now, more often than not, that's okay. I manage it, I'm aware of it, I have boundaries, and I do what I need to do. When I'm vulnerable, when I'm sensitive, when I'm on high alert, all of that massively, like the heat turns up massively. And so it was a great awareness to go, yeah, so something right now that feels full on and it feels quite hard and it feels quite challenging is my super skill. But right now I need to manage it. I need to be aware of it. And then we walk through, how can I work through that? How can I calm things down? And the key thing for me is routine. So it's exercise, it's talking, it's showing up, it's doing the things that I say I'm going to do when I do them. It's looking after myself. It's meditating. It's having plans in the diary. It's making sure that I stick to those plans. It's meeting up with people. It's all of these things. And the key thing here, what it's not, is it's not hiding. It's not shutting my voice down. It's not hiding away. It's not getting up. It's not disappearing into myself. That awareness is absolutely key. And it's so powerful. And you know what? Even like I say, this showing up, this at the table, you bringing your seat, you being here at this table, listening to me waffle away, listening to some of the shares I have. Maybe you ask a question. Maybe you're curious about something. Maybe you share something with me um, away from here, and you send me a question that will be anonymous, that I wouldn't, that I won't share with anyone else. But more often than not, other people are going through these things. And I could even feel the little weebles. I call them weebles, like the little negative thoughts that come in. And I could feel them earlier. Like, you don't really need to do this. No one's really watching. Nobody really cares. Like, you don't need to go live if you don't want to go live. It's like, yes, I do. I need to do it for me. And then I had a little scroll on YouTube. I was looking through to make sure that all of this was set up. and I come across James Smith. Now, if you don't know who James Smith is, and you are into personal development, if you're into healthy, like looking after your body, if you're into creating videos, and if you're into, business, online business, digital marketing, even, James Smith is great. He says it as it is. He doesn't give a monkey's. Like, it's so refreshing. And I came across one of his videos, and what was really interesting, he spoke about yapping. Like, there's so much edited stuff, there's so much perfection, that actually just getting on and just yapping and talking about something that's important to you. Well, of course, perfect timing for me, because one of my weebles was like, no one gives a monkeys about you. Nobody wants to listen to you. Like, you haven't even got a great setup, all of that stuff. I'm like, do you know what? I just want to come on a yap. And if I want to do that, I'm going to do that. I'm not hurting anyone. And if this helps me, then hopefully it enhances me to then make sure that I show up and I do what's ever next in my journey. I've no idea what that is right now. I'm seriously in a moment of blank page. What do I do? If you listened to last night, you'll have heard me talk about, like, if you were to start from scratch, what would you do? If there was no fear, there was no judgment, you had no money worries, you could just do whatever you wanted to do, be wherever you wanted to be, have whatever you wanted to have. Like, what would that be? And how often do we actually sit and question that? And right now, if I shared what's really going on right now, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, Jay, like, that's a lot. Like, what angle of your life at the moment is actually stable? And yet, on the other hand, we could look at it and think, oh my God, how beautiful, how powerful that I'm alive, I'm healthy, I've got the last 46 years all wrapped up in here and in here, the knowledge I've got, the experience I've got, the people I know, the things I've gone through. My next adventure, whatever it might be, is going to be fueled with all of that stuff. It's not going anywhere. And in fact, some would argue that actually I've released a lot of stuff. I've let go of stuff. I've let go of things that don't serve me. I've removed myself from situations that were physically causing me pain. Like, and when I say physically causing me pain, I mean, it really hurt because it was against my values, or it was personal attacking, or it was questioning my integrity, my authenticity, questioning the hard work and the level of effort. And like, I don't deserve to be in a space like that, nor do you. um I wouldn't stay in a relationship that treated me like that, let alone a business that treated me like that, or a friendship that treated me like that. Or, there was once upon a time that I'd been out with some friends, and we'd had a heavy night, and the next morning we went into this cafe and we were going to have a breakfast, and we were ordering the breakfast, and the woman behind the counter was so rude. It was unbelievable how rude she was. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd have just ignored it. She's having a bad day, fine. The difference was I had no filter, and I was quite blunt in myself because I wasn't feeling great. And I just addressed it, and I said to her, hold on a minute, you might not be feeling great, you might have had a lot of stuff going on, but right now we don't need to hear this. We don't need to be treated the way you've just treated us. She was like, "Huh." I thought, no, there's a boundary here. We're your customers, we're paying you. We don't deserve to be treated like that. Whatever you've got going on, go and deal with that. But no. And you know what? I think the older I'm getting, the more mature, the more experienced, the more shit I've gone through. I'm not going to say that it's making me harder. I'm not going to say it's making me um, colder or short or anything like that. But because I don't want that, I want to keep my heart fully open. I want to keep the essence of my values wide open to not questioning another relationship that, oh, what if he does that to me? like the other ones did? Or what if she does that to me like the other ones did? Or what if we go into business together and we get a repeat of what's happened before? That's not how I work. That's not healthy for any of us. But of course, we go in with knowledge and learning and intuition and insights. What's more important then is to speak up and is to say as you feel and say as you want, to make sure that you keep your boundaries, you keep your voice, and you stay true to yourself. And that's why showing up live tonight is really important. And I will show up every single night. And I'm sure it will get better and better and better. And hopefully people will engage and send me some questions and we can talk about that. But it's important to show up. It's important to stick to your word. It's important to have an awareness of who you are. And it's important to listen to yourself. Really, really important. And you know, the 7 p.m. table, everyone's welcome. There's a seat here for everybody. And that's another thing, really. Interestingly, if I think about why is it called the table, why can everyone come? Because there's a lot of rooms, there's a lot of situations that we don't all feel welcome in. We don't all feel that we can be part of. Um, and I truly believe that every human being is doing their best, and no human is their behavior. We go through things that we go through, we have lived experiences. People are the way they are because of their environment, because of what happened when they were younger, because of how they've been treated, because of just lack of curiosity, maybe. But no one is really, nobody is really as mean as they are just for the sake of it. Like, even the bad stuff that's happening in the news right now, the manipulation. I can only imagine the stories behind some of that, of manipulation, of coercion, of people being tied into webs and weaved into situations that they just can't get out of. And yes, they should speak up. Everybody should speak up, but it's got to feel safe for you to speak up. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Most definitely, that is not a conversation for here. But if you really look at it and you understand how manipulation happens and how coercion can happen and how people can really fear for their lives or fear for their livelihood or their reputation or their families or their businesses or things that they built, you know, there are people that will really hold on to those things and not feel okay that they're not speaking, but feel like they can't speak. I mean, imagine being in a situation where you feel you're trapped, whether it's financially, whether it's reputationally, whether you don't think you'll be believed, whether you think you'll be judged, like all of these things. Imagine, do you really want to speak? You really want to say what you need to say, but you can't. You feel like you can't. That's awful. Absolutely awful. I've got a comment. Vulnerability, ADHD, our personality need to shine through. Keep showing up and share what you don't like, and that can push people away. But don't let it be a personal rejection. Do you know what? That's such a powerful thing. Thank you so much for sharing. It's such a powerful thing, and I think the hypersensitivity, the hyper awareness of a rejection, and you know, some of us would say, well, being rejected on a date or being rejected um, because somebody doesn't want to work with you. Like, rejection is, there's so much more than that. So much more than that. And when you're hyper focused and hypersensitive, any level of rejection, any level of rejection can be really physically painful. Um, and it's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of what I do in my life, a lot of what I've done in business is sales, and sales invites rejection. It literally invites it in. It invites no's. It invites people not responding. It invites big conversations where you, you're basically hoping they say yes, but knowing they're probably going to say no. And the rejection around that is just full on. Um, and to not take it personally, and to kind of to build resilience, to build some sort of boundary around that is really important. Um, but it also goes to show that I'm starting to really understand about me is that when I am in a sales situation, when I am nurturing, when I am networking, when I am talking to investors, when I am reaching out for help, it's not easy to ask for help, because when you ask for help, there's a likelihood of a no. And that's really tough, especially when, if you consider why you're asking for help, it's because you're feeling vulnerable. That is really tough, really, really tough. Um, oh my God, it's so tough. And actually, what can happen when you're in a situation when you're hyper focused, you're hypersensitive, and you are vulnerable through whatever's happening, in life, then those no's can really hurt. They can really come in, they can really affect you. But the reality is, consider the person that's saying no. They're not saying no to you, they're saying no to them for now. And that's okay. In fact, that's more than okay. Because if they said yes just to please you, it really wouldn't end well. At some point, it would come undone. At some point, it would really cause an issue. So, them saying no because it's right for them to say no is actually more important. But it just doesn't feel like in it. It doesn't feel like it when it's for you, because you're hearing a rejection, you're feeling a rejection, and that's really tough. Um, wow, yeah, that's a really powerful thing. Oh, thank you so much for sharing there. That's great. It's great to have a comment. It's really good for somebody to be interacting, saying hello, and sharing. And I hope me sharing here has given you some understanding. One, that you're not alone, that no, none of us are alone. We are all very unique, but a lot of things we go through, a lot of the things that happen to us, it's not new. It's happened to others. But when you're in the moment, you kind of feel like you're the only one. And that can be really lonely. And it shouldn't be, because you're not the only one. And I hope 7 p.m. at the table, you always feel welcome. You always come and bring your seat, and you watch this whenever you watch it. I'll keep it to around half an hour. And again, it will grow, it will move through. Um, the reality is, right now, my head's scrambled. I am not 100% Jay at all. And yet, it's important to keep showing up. It's important to keep talking. It's important to keep sharing, and it's important for me to understand what's going on, and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and some of the things that have happened, and not to dwell on them, but to understand what happened so that I can then learn from them, and moving forward, I can recognize them again, or I can take forward the learning and the lesson, so as not, hopefully, to repeat them. That's the game of life, right? It's moving through to learn our lessons, and enjoy what that brings. Because the other side of this, I would not like to have Groundhog Day every day. I'm okay with that. So the ups and the downs and the roller coaster of life, and the challenges that come, they build resilience, they build awareness, they build curiosity, they expand the map of the world for us. They help us understand what it is to be a human being. Um, and that's a really good reflection, you know, it's a really good reflection. I'm going to do something a bit different here. I'm going to do something just because I feel like it. Because guess what? Do you know what? This is my show, and you're on my show, and you're here, and you're welcome. You're always welcome. Now, what's really interesting, have you heard of the shedding of the snake, the Chinese New Year's, shedding of the snake, and the rise of the fire horse has just happened. And what's interesting online is so many people are talking about it that possibly never spoke about it before. But there's a big awareness around the shedding of a snake's skin, and the shedding of things, letting go of things. And there's also a powerful awareness and intention of the rise of the fire horse, of the galloping, of the action, of the moving forward, of the towards. And so even if you're not into zodiac signs or Chinese New Year's or anything like that, like, you can still resonate with the snake and the horse, right? Which I think is really powerful, because you don't need to attach to it. You just be open to these things. And I'm open to oracle cards. Now, just because it's quite helpful to have an intention. I love these ones. These are Angels and Ancestors, Kyle Gray, and the artwork is beautiful. And I often will just sit with my cards, you know, and all it is setting an intention. That's all it is. And it gives your mind a bit of focus, and it's playful. And that's what I mean about not attaching, being open. You know, you could be open to manifestation. You could be open to the universe. You could be open to God. You could be open to, like, there's so many different things you could be open to. Why not be curious and open to all of it? So I'm going to pick a card and just see what comes up. If you've never done them before, I just play with them, and it just feels right to pick a card. And here we have, oh, isn't this interesting? And I say that every time because I find that it just brings something in me to the forefront. And what we've got here is a broken arrow. Isn't the artwork beautiful? And it says, embrace the energy of peace. And right now, where things are, actually, just embracing the energy of peace. Just sitting still, just being. Like, and whatever comes up for you in that is what's meant to come up. You know, some would say, oh, it's woo-woo. Some would say, like, what a load of rubbish. I don't care. Like, it's my choice. It's your choice. There's no right, there's no wrong. I mean, in this game of life, we're all making it up anyway. Everybody's making it up. You know, do you think that the person, I can't remember his name now, do you think that the person that invented electricity, do you think he was, do you think he knew what electricity was before he created it? No. Do you think he wanted an outcome and then continued to work away to find an outcome? Of course he did. Or she. I think it was a he. Edison. Is it Edison? I'm just trying to find here the explanation, but it's not coming. So yeah, the reality is we're all making it up. We are all making it up. We're making up everything. Yeah. There's so many things that are being made up. It's unbelievable. And that's all okay. Broken arrow. Here we go. I'm just going to read you a little bit. Let go of the need to defend yourself and prepare to offer peace. You are safe. Oh, that's so interesting, because right now I don't feel safe. Oh, I'm being so vulnerable and honest with you guys. I don't feel safe at the moment. I really don't. Now, to the conditioned mind, to the norm, why are you not feeling safe, Jay? Like, who's going to attack you? Who's going to hurt you? That's not the safe I'm talking about. The safe of feeling safe comes from within. It's not an external thing here. And at the moment, because there's so much uncertainty, there is a lack of safety going on inside of me. And what's interesting here, it says, just as the arrow card symbolizes defense and protection, the broken arrow card symbolizes peace. In Native American traditions, a broken arrow would mean that tribes were no longer fighting one another, but were making alliances. When you see a broken arrow in a meditation, a vision, dream, or reading, it's a message that you are no longer, oh my God, that you no longer need to fight. I'm going to get emotional. You no longer need to fight because peace has arrived. This is a powerful symbol of harmony, serenity, and community. Whether you believe in any of that, that's just done exactly as I needed. And that's all it needs to do. I no longer need to fight. I have peace. I feel calm. Anyway, thank you for joining me at the table. You are all welcome. You will always be welcome. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the table. I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions, any queries, anything you want to share, even if you want to, I don't know, whatever's come up, share away. If you want it to be anonymous, it can be anonymous. Um, but I hope you've enjoyed my ramblings. 7 p.m., the table.